And come to a comfortable seat. And as you come to your comfortable seat, this is one of those places where you can start to help the hamstrings, the glutes, the low back, the hips by lifting your hips up a little ways. And so I always start with my blanket tripled up. And then by the end of class, I can come to a little bit lower because I've then worked out some of my stuff, right? And so as you shift find that seat for yourself. The whole purpose of this initial seat is to do that check-in, to bring some awareness to what's going on in your body now. And to also just tune in general to what your energy level is and what's going on in your mind, right? So as you close your eyes, take a moment here to scan through your body with your breath. Your inhales and your exhales start to become more full. And allow that inhale and exhale in and out of the nose. This helps to regulate your system. And as you notice for yourself, think of moving your mind's eye through your entire body. So think of moving it through your legs and noticing through your hips, low back, noticing through your side bodies, your torso, your upper back, noticing through your neck, your shoulders, your arms. And as you've noticed, notice in particular any places that have sensation, or as one of my teachers said, just notice if your knee is saying hello, or if your low back is saying hello. Do you notice a particular part of your body a little bit more than the rest? Now connect hands together at heart center and really take a moment to thank yourself for taking this time to cultivate awareness. Full deep inhale and sit a little taller. Exhale, bow toward your heart. As you softly start to open your eyes and release your hands down, let your neck and head stay in this position of tucked down. Shoulder blades move onto your back here, but then shake your head no a little toward the ground, starting to notice through your neck, maybe through your traps, maybe even getting into more of that space in between your shoulder blades where your rhomboids are. Then as you sit up tall, take your hands in front of you to clasp and pull forward, round back. We know and love this pose. This is that variation of cat pose where we get to really expand into the upper back, and then add a little side to side movement, stretching into the lats. Then inhale, sit tall, and we'll take some pulses in our gratitude. So elbows hug in toward your sides, your palms are lifted, and engage them. Imagine that you're holding something heavy in them. And from that place, lengthen, taller through the crown of your head. Draw your low ribs in to help expand into your kidney area. And then little pulses here, little movements back. And as you move back, you can notice tips of shoulder blades moving in and out. Notice those little movements of your shoulder blades that sometimes help to work through some of that stuck stuff, that fascia that gets built up and thick and makes us need to call our massage therapists. And then release your arms down, give your shoulders a little roll back. And a little roll forward. And now reach your right arm up and over your ear. Your left hand gets to stay at your hip. It can stay resting at your leg if you want, or you can press fingertips onto the floor, but we're not taking a big side stretch per se. Instead, we're lengthening up more. Reach up higher. Think of lengthening from hip to armpit, and even make space in between each rib. Take a bit while you're in between the ribs. You can't really make space in one rib. Oh boy. So now, staying long here, we're going to turn a little bit. So you've got a little twist happening. Instead of the side stretch, twisting from your low ribs, take a big breath into your upper back on the right side. And even think of creating a little bit of a cat pose. So pull in with your right ribs, a little bit of a turn down. Reach longer through your right fingertips, root your right sitting bone down. Now from that place, you're going to release your right hand down to your leg on the left side, and your left fingertips can always switch to pressing into the floor if you would like. But push down with both hands, lengthen your sides, and now this time try to make your left side even with your right. You just lengthened your right side a lot. Now, left low ribs draw in to help you twist more. Inhale, come back into center. And from this place, left arm reaches. And again, you can take hand to your hip, hand to your leg, or right fingertips to the floor here. Find what feels the best, and then lengthen again. Lift, lift, lift. From hip to armpit, reach longer, straight up. Take a big, deep breath. And now as you start to draw your low ribs in, you're going to allow that little bit of a twist here. Full big inhale and exhale. Fill up your left upper back rather, not low back. Big deep breath. Reach even longer. And now take that twist over to the left side. Oh my goodness, over to the right side. Press down with your hands, lift your ribs up higher, lengthen both sides. Try to make your right as long as your left, and then draw your right low ribs in to help you twist. Inhale, come back into center, hands to your knees, and just move through a couple gentle cat-cows. Nothing big, not needing to go to the depth of your pose. Just moving to clear through your spine. Then sit tall, switch the cross of your legs. And as you shift your sitting bones, just take that time to notice for yourself again. Even take hands to your upper thighs, right up at your hip creases, and root down. Give a little bit of movement here through your pelvis as you push down. So feeling that connection, but also feeling anything showing up for you in your low back, your hips, your hamstrings, your quads, whatever's there. And you might, as you shift to the other side here, you might notice something different. You might not, might be just about the same. And now hands in front to clasp, pull forward, round back. So we were here on the other side. So now make this movement even bigger, even more dramatic, especially if it feels good on the body. If you have a lot of tension through your low back or your upper back, then your body might say no, and you get to listen to that. You get to notice if you need to be more gentle with yourself. And now, as you come over to the right side with your torso, pull your low ribs in, expanding into your upper back. Tuck your chin in just a little bit more, and now take a big breath into your back body, especially into your left side. And then over to the left side and pull in with your low ribs. Take that big deep breath, filling into your right side. Inhale back into center and sit tall. And now with hands pressing into your legs, lift your shoulders up and back. And shake your head no, straight ahead. Again, checking in with your neck, upper back, your shoulders. And then as your head comes to the right side, tuck your chin down. You can take a hold of the back of your head here with your right hand if you would like. Gratitude with your left arm. And then remember those pulses here. So as you take those pulses, shoulder blade gets to work. And your shoulder blade has a lot of connections with your neck and shoulder. So just take a moment to notice what you're feeling. Cool thing about this motion is that in physical therapy, it's considered a nerve glide. So you're kind of massaging your nerves that go from your neck through your shoulder, through your arm. And then release both hands down. Take a moment in center to lengthen your spine. And then turn your head over to the left side, tuck your chin down. If you would like, you can take a hold of the back of your head with your left hand. If that's too intense, then you can stay with your hand resting and just tuck your chin. Now, gratitude with your right side, elbow hugs in, and now you're taking those pulses. I highly recommend the pulsing action whenever you think about it, especially if you have some tension going on through your neck or through your shoulders. It's a really nice therapeutic thing to do for yourself. And then releasing both hands down. And then just a couple movements in a cat and cow here. Again, doesn't have to be the deepest place you've ever gone, but if it feels really good to go a little bit deeper than we did before, then feel free to. Full inhales to draw your belly and your heart forward. Full exhales to press your spine back. And now back up to center, tall spine. We're going to shift forward now onto hands and knees for a moment just to set ourselves up. And then as you set yourself up, notice that rotation of your upper arm bones and the push of hands into the ground. And then tuck toes under, lift hips up and back, downward facing dog pose, and take a moment to push from lats up through your hands. As you tilt your sitting bones up, your knees get to be a little soft here. And then sway your hips side to side. So instead of bending one knee at a time, we'll get a little into our side bodies first. So think about lengthening from hip to armpit on one side, hip to armpit on the other side. And now come back to center and pedal out. Bending one knee at a time, allowing the back of one leg to get a little longer, a little stretch through the calf, a little stretch through the hamstrings. As you do this, think of the movement happening from the hips as opposed to the shoulders. And then walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat, and take your feet a little wider than your hips. This is a nice thing to do for yourself, especially if low back and hamstrings are tight. Bent knees, inhale and lengthen part way, tilt sitting bones up. Exhale, fold over your legs. And from this place, you can have hands on blocks, hands on the floor, hands wherever you need them. Even hold on to opposite elbows if you would like to. I like to hold on to the backs of my calves here. Take a big inhale and lengthen just a little ways. Tilt your sitting bones up at the same time. Exhale and fold over your legs. Hands to hips. Press back with hips. Lift shoulders up and back and rise all the way up to stand. And from this place, walk your feet into about hip distance. And think of inner hips as opposed to outer hips. Lift and spread your toes and then root down with your toes. And now inhale, reach your arms up overhead, and exhale, hands come to your heart. Now we've done this a few times in the last couple weeks. Press palms together, elbows lift to about wrist height. Lift your shoulders up and back. And now as you bend your knees and rotate inner thighs back, engage low glutes, low belly. Now inhale, lift your low ribs, lift your chest, lift your heart. Little tiny back bend. Now support the back bend by engaging low belly and low ribs. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, engage the core. Inhale, rise back up. Turn your palms forward, mountain pose. Shoulders lift up and back. And then take ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. As you take ear to shoulder, think of when your head comes to the right side, it's your left fingertips reaching a little further out to the side. As your head comes to the left, your right fingers reach a little further out to the side. Then back into center. Inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, bend knees to fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen part way and send your sitting bones up. Keep your hands above your knees. And now as you send your sitting bones up, also push your hands down and pull your low ribs in, finding a cat pose in the upper back. With that cat pose in the upper back, sway your shoulders a little side to side as you keep your hips stationary. Then back into center, extend your heart, and exhale, fold. Blocks if you would like to, plant your fingertips, step your right foot back into your lunge. And now we're going to turn and plant our back heel. We're not going to rise up quite yet, but instead, practice wrapping your glute down and under on your left leg to help your knee maybe bump right against your left arm. Take a big breath, extend your heart forward, take a deep inhale. Long, full exhale in and out of your nose. Then tuck your back toes and step forward and step your left foot back into your lunge. And again, turn and plant your back heel like your warrior two pose, but we're going to keep our hands on our blocks or the floor. So now wrap your right glute down and under so that your knee bumps right against your right arm here. Extend your heart. Big breath. Then tuck your back toes and step forward. Next, exhale, step right foot back into your lunge. Turn and plant your back heel and inhale, rise up this time into your warrior two. And as you lift your ribs up, then deeper into your front knee and open it up. Imagine that there's an arm there for you to bump your leg into. As you inhale, lift up higher. As you exhale, settle just a little bit deeper. So you've got two actions happening there. Depth of hips and long spine. One more big breath right here. Exhaling, both hands come down to the front of your mat. And now tuck your back toes. And from here, set your right hand on a block or the floor on the outside edge of your mat. Left hand to your knee and start to turn your belly and your heart to the left side. And then re-engage, wrapping your glute down and under on the left side as you turn your belly open. From here, hand stays at your hip for a moment and even walk your left hand up to your low ribs and push your right hand down, lift your low ribs up as you turn a little bit more. Big deep breath. Exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. And now rise up to whatever you're using for props and work your front leg towards straight, coming into a hamstring stretch here. This is our variation of pyramid pose. And so bump your back foot in toward the front of your mat as much as you need to for your entire foot to be on the ground so that your toes are aimed pretty far forward as opposed to turn to the side like warrior two, okay? So now from that place, wrap your left hip back, push your left big toe mound down, send your sitting bones up. As you extend your heart forward, give your back knee a little bend to help you tilt your sitting bones even more. Big, full, deep breath. Good, now bend into your front knee and this time step back, downward facing dog pose and take a moment here. You have your choice in your movements, but first, steady through your arms, rotate elbow pits forward and push. Keep your shoulders really stable, and then you can either sway your hips side to side or bend knees one at a time, or maybe rise to tiptoes and tilt sitting bones and then lower heels back down, or work work through all of those motions a couple times. And then walk your feet forward, coming into your forward fold. Take an inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold over your legs. Pause and notice. Notice what's showing up in your legs, your hips, your low back, your shoulders. And from here, blocks if you would like to step your left foot back into your lunge. Turn and plant your back heel and rise up to your warrior two. And as you settle into your warrior two, you're opening up with your front knee, lifting your sides. Our poses, every single one of them, even Shavasana, is a chance to pulse and find more space, to discover more about what's going on. So none of them are static. There's always a little bit of movement. So find that little bit of movement to help you deepen, open, expand. Full breath. On your exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. And then tuck your back toes. And you're setting left hand on the side of your mat, either on your block or on the floor. Right hand comes up to your right knee to start with and pause. You're bending into your knee to that place of stacking your shin and then wrapping your glute down and under. So your knee is turning more toward the pinky toe edge. From there, work your hand up to your hip and then even slide your right hand up to your low ribs. Now push your left hand down and expand your low ribs upward as you turn more open. Take a big deep breath. Now exhale, both hands come down to either side of your front leg and find your blocks, whatever you're using. And if you only have one thing, then just bring it to the inside for both hands. That's okay. So now work your front leg towards straight and bump your back foot in to where your whole foot can be on the ground. So that might be a few inches, that might be close to a foot. Take a couple big breaths and find where that is for your body. Now, wrap your right hip back, push your right big toe mound down, and send your sitting bones up. Back knee bends a little, not a lot, because sometimes it can't bend a lot in this position, but that little bend helps more movement to happen through the pelvis. So send your sitting bones up, extend your heart, take a deep breath. And now set both hands down as you bend into your front knee and step all the way back into a downward facing dog pose. Pause, tilt sitting bones up and push from lats up through your hands. Then lower knees down, push hips back to heels and take a child's pose. And take a couple big breaths in your child's pose. This is a chance to really tune into what's happening through hamstrings, hips, low back, shoulders, really every part of your body. So notice. And now gently push yourself up to a seat and come down to sitting bones. And now we're going to lower all the way down onto our backs. And from our backs, this will be a chance to work through a little bit more of the glutes and some more of that connection of the low back. So with your knees pulling up into your chest, hug them in as deeply as your body is ready for. And you might have your knees wide here if that feels better on your body, or you might have your knees narrow, your choice. And then rock side to side, giving your low back a little bit of a massage from the ground. And now setting right foot on the ground, left ankle over your right knee. We're coming into that figure four stretch here. So now pick your legs up towards your body as close as is right for you. So that might mean keeping your right foot on the ground, depending on how tight you feel today. Wherever that is, rock a little side to side with your legs. Sometimes that allows the low back to lengthen just a little bit more. Feet are active, especially the left one, to keep your knee and ankle safe. And then from wherever you are, and again, your right foot can always be on the ground here, take your legs just a little over to the right side so that your left hip is lifted, and we'll give that little stretch or that big stretch through the piriformis here. So left sitting bone out to the left and forward toward the foot of your mat, or think of the left front corner of your room, wherever that is for you. Take a big deep breath. I know for me that tends to get even more into the hamstrings as well. So just notice what it is. And then come back into center and set your left foot down and cross your right ankle over your left knee. And from this place again, you can keep the left foot on the floor if that feels best, or pick your legs up towards your chest, your choice. Wherever that is, rock a little side to side, maybe allow your low back to walk a little further forward. I imagine each side of my back taking a step forward. Who knows? And then as you're ready to, you're gonna get or allow your legs to shift a little bit over to the left side. So you have that rock to the left, right hip is lifted a little bit, and then move your right sitting bone out to the right and forward toward the foot of your mat, or toward the right front corner of your room. Full big breath. Glutes, hips, hamstrings right here. So notice what that is for you. And then come back into center and set both feet on the ground. And from this place, as you drop your knees in together to touch, take your hands to your upper thighs, right up at the hip creases to push your upper thigh bones away from you, like you're trying to push them toward the foot of your mat. As you push them forward, your low back might lift up a little bit. So take a moment here to just move through your pelvis, a little swivel, a little pivot. And now, as you're ready to, you'll shift to whatever variation of Shavasana feels the best to your body. Giving your body and your mind that chance to soak in the work you've done. So feel free to prop yourself. Feel free to take the variation that completely lets your whole body settle. If you'd like to, from here, you can take a letting go breath, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. And start to give your whole body permission to release and let go. Begin to take a deeper breath. Add gentle movement into fingers and into toes. Turn your head side to side if that feels good. And then start to bend your knees. Roll over to your favorite side today. From your side, take a full breath. And gently push yourself back up to your seat. And from your seat, hands coming together at heart center, eyes closed. Take another couple of breaths to tune back in, to notice, find that awareness, physical things in the body, thoughts in the mind, energy level. Have a very peaceful, beautiful day. Namaste.